that you have to endure, that is not a matter of enjoyment. Now, not every woman is unlucky, but a lot of women have suffered this. So many women have suffered this. And they're just not telling anybody. When you see couples come out to wedding ceremonies and they're wearing ashwabi, it's not as good as that sometimes, you know. The woman is probably even so poorly treated. Sometimes they develop illnesses, and of course, when she dies, they bring flowers and say, "Oh, my darling wife has died and left me." But they tortured her emotionally. I know of a lady who her husband actually told her that when everything she has belongs to him, she earns her salary, she gives it to him. She takes the whole salary from the bank plus her pay slip and presents it to him. So she has to buy anything, she applies to him. And even if she gets a gift, it's his own. And she dares not talk when he's talking. You don't have a right to talk. She had to put up with that. It took a lot of people to beg her to come out of it because he was even abusing her physically. He was very violent. And you know, if you're a Christian woman, you know that maybe nobody would marry you if you left your husband. Maybe nobody will marry you, and maybe nobody will even pity you. And so, because of this, it just makes it look like it's a normal thing. So everybody just puts up with it this way. I have seen where a woman goes to the police station to report her husband because he was always strangulating her at night and it took neighbors to rescue her. She goes to the police station and after she narrates her ordeal to the police, they say, "Madam, go home, go and settle with your husband." Do you know why? The policeman is talking to probably is that kind of person. So who's going to rescue her? Who's even going to prosecute these people who do this kind of things, who actually abuse women in this manner? Who's going to rescue them? You know, so these are part of the reasons why it looks as if everybody just accepts it, that that's how it is. You know, if you start complaining for young people, I do counsel a lot of couples, right? When you hear their stories, they'll tell you that when they went to tell their husband's family that this is what the man is doing, they tell her, this is marriage, oh, this is not it's not friendship, oh, it is marriage. Oh. So it's the mentality of the people. They've come to accept it, that this is what it is. Now, having said this about men, I've also counseled families where I saw that it was the women that were abusing the man. Emotionally, they were abusing the man. Psychologically, they were dealing with the man. The man loves his family. He does not want to leave his family. She's got children. They've got several children they have to look after. So what happens if he lets her go? So she blackmails him. If you don't take your time, I will leave. If you don't take your time, I will leave. And so the guy has to bend over backwards to even do things that are contrary to him to impress her. And he's always having to put up with it. After listening to their story, that was when I knew that wait. So this thing is not only women that suffer gender abuse. It's not only women. Some men also suffer it. And I wonder why men are not even speaking out. I wonder why they're not heard, because so many of them have developed high blood pressure. Some have developed all sorts of diseases because of the abuse that they're facing in their homes from their wives, and there's nothing they can do. Because you think about, how am I going to go marry a new wife? What will I tell anybody? You know? And again, I've also talked to men who, it seems as if they can't control their stuff, right? So their wives come to report and say, "Please, could you help me talk to my husband? My husband is sleeping with every girl and it's affecting us." And when I got talking to him, he told me something. He said, "The office where I work, it's a problem. I know I have a weakness in this area. Now the girls just come dressed with their breasts open. That's violence. In case you don't know, it is. And then you wear clothes that bring out all your cleavages. What were you thinking? So you want this guy by all means to sleep with you because you know for sure that once he sleeps with you, something will give way from him to you. Is that not abuse? That's also abuse too. So it's not only the men that abuse women. Some men are also abused in different ways in this manner. So I think the way to resolve this thing is to let's try to talk about relationship. So even our children, because you see children as they're growing up, the ones who are going to be violent, you will know from when they were babies. So if you don't pay attention to the kids, and you're always busy, you leave them with the house help, they fight among themselves in the house, they can't tolerate one another. It starts from there. So they go to school. When you see children in school, if you watch them in school, you will know the ones that their parents have been fighting at home. You will see the ones that they don't have parental control at all. You see those, you know, you just know. So I think it should start from when, in fact, maybe even from the cradle. Everybody should start to talk to their kids about relationship, about how to resolve conflicts. And I have two sons, right? I have two sons. When they were much younger, there were days I just come back from work and I'm very tired. And one of them runs into my room and said, Mommy, come and see what my brother has done to me. And I said, get out of here. Leave my room. Am I your brother? Go resolve yourselves. Go and resolve your differences. I will never be your brother. I'm only your mom. What I was doing was trying to get them to learn how to resolve their conflicts. So, but I'm still going to call them individually, you know, and say, hey, come here, what happened? He tells me, I said, well, I tell your brother that you're sorry, because I think it was not good. But the other person did not know that I spoke to this one. And this one also does not know that I spoke to the other one. So I see them hugging each other. I say, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I did that to you. I didn't know it was wrong. I'm so sorry. So people should learn, we should learn to try to bring up our children if we want to resolve it, because a lot of the men are gone, they're far gone with this behavior. There's nothing you're going to do to change them. But maybe if we can speak to their conscience, right? If there's any form of education that speaks to anybody's conscience at all, and it makes him have a rethink, and it makes him to become kind, considerate, and selfless, and just really put the interest of the other person first. If you're already like this, then there's no way you're going to abuse any woman who you eventually marry, or the woman that's anybody at all, whether it's your co-worker. You just really think, if it's me, how would I feel? How does this sit? This does not sit well. And you know, this behavior I'm talking about now, it only occurs from the fear of God. If you don't fear God, a society where people just really want to pack God and keep aside and do their thing, then there'll be violence everywhere. Everybody feels frustrated, so they vent it on the person that is nearest to them. You know, so sometimes the men are very frustrated from work, from the things they're facing, and they don't know where to go. There's just nowhere to even like vent what's going on within them. And some actually even need psychotherapy. And our society has not really like developed a lot of people who can do a lot of counseling and a lot of psychotherapy, because so many men you see, because of responsibilities, because of struggles and stuff to take care of family, many of them actually are stressed out. So if you already didn't have a character, who are you going to vent it on? Your wife. And then for the women as well, the women are also stressed because there are homes where the men have lost their jobs. They are no longer working. And once the man is not working anymore and the woman has to pay the bills, he's no more himself. It's going to take the woman has got to work extra hard to make him feel like man all over again. There's nothing she will do. She comes back from work and she is tired, and then she frowns a bit. The man goes, I don't blame her at all. It's not because she pays the bill. That is why she's frowning. She no longer has anybody to look after her. She has to now work on eggshells. So both of them are going to be stressed in this manner. But what if they already don't have a character that is kind, a character that is compassionate, a character that is understanding, a character that is selfless and tries to like empathize with the other person. If you don't have this character, when the stress of life comes, you will vent it on the nearest person to you, and you will think you're right. So both of them will be stressed. They will start abusing each other like this. And the children will be watching. They also pick from them and continue the trend So if you go tell a man who thinks that women are terrible because he's abusing his wife, he thinks that his wife is terrible, he doesn't know how to look for the good in her, so he has branded women as very terrible people. You as a woman, you go to tell him he's in charge of prosecuting men who abuse their women, their wives, or abuse their co-workers, or people who abuse children in school and stuff. Before you even conclude what you're saying, he's going to say, please, women. So that's why it seems as if it's only NGOs and women groups that actually spearhead this fight against gender abuse, gender-based violence. You will see that it's women groups, it is NGOs, and not necessarily, they've not really I've not seen a lot of government involvement in trying to resolve this matter because, well, it's still a man's world. And most men in this climate actually grew in a very tense condition, tense atmosphere, and they grew not to be very kind, And then of course the woman is just that kind of person. There are places where you can't talk. I saw a woman once, a 12-year-old daughter, who she had hoped would go to school. Her husband says, I'm giving her out in marriage. And the woman is saying, why don't I let's send this girl to school. Here, not this way. Why don't you, let's send this girl to school? And he says, see, I didn't tell you to give me an opinion. I'm just informing you that in a few days she'll be gone. You know that you're not supposed to talk in this matter. If you talk, you're violating the norm. Your opinion is not recognized here at all. I don't need your opinion. So, women have grown under this. So this is a man. He becomes a politician. He's now the person who is appointed into an office where people come and report this kind of gender-based violence. How do you think he will treat it? You see? So, it's going to take us actually fearing God and loving one another. Oh, trust me. The love for one another is what's going to work. So you will love your neighbor as yourself. And that neighbor is your wife or your co-worker who you see, who you spend most of your time with. And she could be your sister. What if, have you seen women who do contracting? Oh my God, they suffer in the hands of the guys who they go and seek contracts from. So, they may not come out in plain terms to say that I want you in bed, otherwise I will not give you this contract. They may not say it in plain terms. They just dribble you around and say the things, say them in codes, they imply stuff and crack dirty jokes with you and see a reaction and stuff like that. They torture you until you are the one that, it now seems as if you are even the one that is begging them, come and take so that I can get the contract. So, how can the society be normal? How can we be healthy with the women treated in this manner? With the girl child treated the way they're treated? Oh, some men are also suffering it, I can tell you that because I've counseled a great number of families and you need to hear their stories. But the people who suffer those most are the women. They're the ones who actually are the receiving end. And they need to be protected because they are the womb that brings everyone to the world, and they are the holders of the society as in. We bring up the children, We actually decide whether the society will be happy or not. If the women are not happy, then you're not happy. If the women are oppressed, unknown to you, you're actually oppressing yourself without knowing. That's what you're doing. So, I think I've answered. said.
Madam, it was. Did I send you the questions? Madam, finish all my questions. In just question number 1, you have answered all of them. I'm telling you. But I'm going to say, I'm not here. It came as a result of what you were saying. But let me surprise you, or should I forward it to you? Number 1, what are some of the societal trends and cultural norms, which was the question I asked, that seems to be encouraging GBV against women in Nigeria? That was the first I asked. And you went further to answer the second one, which was, what do you have to say about the attitude of security agents, especially the police, towards victims, making the victims look like they are the problem? You went further to even go to why is the rate of GBV rising in Nigeria today in spite of efforts to reduce it? You went further to even answer number 4. You say, how can we encourage victims to speak out? Okay, this is where I said are going to ask you now how to encourage them to speak out. In your own opinion, you said something about even the societal norm will be like, this is a family issue, so you shouldn't go. So I'm going to ask your opinion. If, in your own opinion, is it right to actually speak up, or should we remain in silence and suffer in pain? There was a case of Osinachi.
Yes.
That who probably because of her upbringing or what the society may say, decided to bottle everything.
Yes.
I mean, she died, not for love. Like Juliet in Romeo and Juliet.
No, it's not that.
You understand? Then look, I didn't even ask you, you went into it. Are men and boys also not victims of GBV? Why is it that only women are being talked about? When people say it, they say it as if it's only men that are abused, only women that are abused. But you delve into that, so I don't have any other question left to ask you other than, first of all, awareness and the need to speak out. So if you can address those two, we are done with this interview.
Okay.
The need for awareness and the need to speak out. What is your opinion about? Should we create more awareness, or do you feel it can be enough?
Yes, we should create more awareness. In fact, if it's possible, we should even create this awareness in communities. Yeah, like this community, for example. Once in a while, people are gathered together, and then you discuss, how to resolve conflicts, whether it's in the office or not. And it's not even just that. Some of the men who abuse women, especially sexually, they have psychological problems. They have psychological problems. It's just in their brain, that once they see a woman, a message is sent to their brain and they can't control themselves. They're in trouble. They know that it's like disease. It's like addiction. And they can't even help it. So, we must be thinking about how how these people can get help. This kind of people should be able to get help. If awareness is created everywhere. For example, the guys I have managed to speak to, what I tell them is, please, pull away from any music that has vulgar languages. Do not listen. And these days, even when people want to advertise razor blade, they will bring a naked woman. They'll bring a naked woman and a man. It's bleed, So everything seems as if there's just a force somewhere that's programming everyone to become animalistic in this manner. So you have to decide within yourself that I'm not going to be that. If you don't discipline yourself, then you'll be victim, you yourself. Both the one that you're abusing and you yourself, you're all victims together. Because it's not healthy for you. Now you feel so terrible after you've done what you have done. It makes you even feel smaller than you are. It makes you feel like a nobody sometimes because of the things you do that people don't even know about. So the guys have managed to cancel. I tell them, please stop listening to music that come with vulgar languages. Stop watching movies that have smooshing, a lot of smooshing in it, because you can't control yourself. Once you see that smooshing, there's already a message sent to your brain. And so the next you'll be thinking, where do I go? And one small girl runs across, you're thinking, is there anybody watching? Can I just pin her down? You have this problem. Why are you feeding it? Is that pouring petrol inside fire? Instead of you to just remove all the sticks from the fire, pour petrol in it. If you starve that fire in you, it will not continue to burn. Starve it by not watching pornography. Anything that looks like pornography, if you don't mind, delete any of those social media stuff, because sometimes it's your health, it's your mental health we're talking about here. You can do without some of these things that you go and watch. Because sometimes you're not even like you're not intentional about going to watch these things. But you just open a page and then you see them coming in different cups. And you know that you cannot see it and not remove your face. I went to talk to some guys, or some of these guys who everybody would call, you just write them off, right? They live in uncompleted buildings. In the night, they come across trouble. You know what I mean. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So they hold the guns and they do different things at night. In the daytime, they are in uncompleted buildings. So I went to talk to them. I met them and I spoke to them and I said, see, this behavior can stop because it won't take you very far. By the time you're 50, will you still be a youth doing all those things you're doing? Now, do you know where I'm going? I gave them an appointment. I'm going to come and take them for a seminar. And they agreed. When I got there, they were all stark naked inside the uncompleted building. Grown men stark naked as I entered to tell them to come, and I brought a bus to pick them. Do you know what came to my mind? First, I'm like, oh, so these guys think they can intimidate me. I know they can't, because I have male children and I give them a bath. So in my brain, these are my children. Can't you just actually tune your mind when you see these girls and say, this is my sister, this is my daughter? So the moment you tune your mind that way, it doesn't mean anything to you anymore, whether they're naked or not, whether they have their breasts, falling out of their chest or not. It doesn't mean anything to you. You have a mother, for God's sake, and you have sisters. Most of them have daughters. So in my brain, I just say, see, I have male children and I give them bath. It's the same thing that these people are thinking around this place. So I just look at them and say, oh, now they bath. Okay, make una not worry, I can wait for now. When I do quick, the seminar don't start. Yeah, so the moment you train your mind this way, then you won't be falling into all those things and living in it and just really like embarrassing yourself all the time, hoping that one day you're not caught and sent to jail for raping somebody.
Talking about justice, madam,
yes.
Do you feel that so far with the spate of gender-based violence, especially when it is sexual and gender-based violence, that the one that is sexual, do you feel justice has been served, or the justice that has been served is commensurate with the cases that has been that? Yes. If not, what should we do?
First of all, I must commend some states that have come up with, they've come up with special courts that deal with gender-based violence, especially sexual abuses. I know about Lagos State, and I know about a few people who have been prosecuted and actually sent to jail for abusing some ladies or some kids, sexually. And recently, some of the NGOs have actually upped their game a whole lot, and so somehow it's gaining traction. Their awareness is gaining traction, but there's still more. There's yet more to be done. I think I read a piece of news where the Attorney General of the Federation was talking about, how they're really going to work hard to ensure that these people are prosecuted who constitute this kind of nuisance, especially when it comes to gender-based violence. So I think right now we're not where we're supposed to be with it, because I know that in other clients, my friend, one of my friends, a senior friend, the son went to a nightclub with a girl abroad. So they drank and both of them were drunk. They came out of the club together and they went to sleep together. When the girl woke up, she called the police. that she was drunk and this guy raped her. That guy went to jail. Oh yes, he went to jail. So everybody, in fact, almost every one of us that travel know that you should mind your lane. You do that abroad, why not do it here as well? Why not do it here? So I think there's still a whole lot more, that needs to be done. Even though so far we're not doing badly, is the awareness is gaining traction gradually. It's coming out. A lot of government agencies are getting involved. I was very impressed to see the Attorney General talking about it. And of course the steps they hope to take to in collaboration with the Ministry of Women Affairs to ensure that this is dealt with. But I must tell you that the cases that I reported are just a minute percentage compared to the cases that happen on a daily basis. How many women can actually come out to say that they were raped? And well, I kind of think that some guys get raped too, because if the guy wasn't planning to do anything and then you brought your buttocks to harass him, he's sitting on, you came to harass him until he could not take it. If it comes, you are the one that raped him. He did rape you. I think guys should also start speaking up at this level. Men, please speak up too when you are raped.
Thank you very much, man. I think this is okay. It's a good one. I want to get your permission now because I love this one. I love it.
Sure. You see men controlling, really fighting to make sure that they don't lose their heads. You come with your breast open.
That woman told me that when you tell a man up, that's abuse. Man up.
It's psychological.
Don't you see what your mates are?
It's psychological. It's psychological. Yes.
And I said, are you serious? Oh, you say you don't know. I said, that means they abuse us every day.
It's psychological.
They gave to me.
Yeah.
I'm just praying God to help me. So that let me bring some few salient points that need to be put forward. At least this time around, so that it's okay. We are good. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.